Let's see. So the first question we have is from Garrett. It says, when I sing, I tend to imitate the singer who sang it originally. Would you have any advice on how to break the mold? Perhaps, should I say, make a song your own?
Love it.
And yeah, first off, like, good job at knowing that that's something you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So many people just want to clone other people, and their goal is to like, oh, but I want to sound like Whitney Houston. It's like, dude, we already had one of those. So good thing that you're already doing that. So let's I don't know, Kira, what do you think? How do you make a song your own?
I know you have a far more detailed approach, but I usually just tell.
Be more detailed in general.
Yeah. But good point. I usually tell my students, like, first of all, stop listening to the original, and secondly, maybe starting to listen to the karaoke track. But a lot of times, I'll just tell my students, who tend to be friends, to just kind of go for it, like folding laundry, making the bed, sing the song. It may end up terribly, but at least try something different.
Be bold, make choices. Yeah.
And, you know, that's why you do it around the house and not on a cover, right? Like, you just kind of go for it and see, oh, that riff sounded terrible, or, hey, I kind of liked that change.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of have like a 3-step answer here, or a 3-level answer, if you will. But I mean, my short answer is just play with it. Like she was saying, like, you know, go in and make new choices that you wouldn't normally do. You know, make this note longer, this note shorter. Go ahead and add vibrato here. You know, just play with different things, tonally, texture-wise, dynamically, whatever phrasing. Like, there's so much that you can do, but you kind of have to give yourself permission to do it first. And so first off, give yourself permission and play. The slightly longer answer for that, and mostly because you said, let me see if I can find it. I tend to imitate singers. So that to me tells me that you're probably already a pretty intuitive singer, and you can kind of hone in on what other people are doing well. So take advantage of that. And then instead of listening to the original over and over, hop on YouTube, find a half a dozen different covers that you really like that are very different, and start to kind of play with each of those a little bit. You know, take a little bit of this influence, a little bit of that influence, and all of a sudden you'll have something that's completely different, and hopefully gives you choices that are more favorable for your voice. Is something that you can do if you need to do it kind of quickly, right? The long-term answer, and the way of how do I like uncover my unique sound, is, once again, goes back to play, but let me give you kind of a way that you can do that on a deeper level. Take your main vocal influences and break down what they do stylistically, but don't just look at what they do as a whole stylistically. Look at how they approach something like tone. How do they adjust their tone stylistically? How do they adjust and use dynamics? Where do they use vibrato? Is it sparingly? Is it more? Is it less? You know, how are they taking, you know, different parts of the song and making them unique? And when you do that, and then you do that with several different singers, all of a sudden you can kind of pick and choose what you like about different people. So what gets really fun and interesting, and I've done this with a couple of my clients, and it's so cool to see when that deep level of understanding is there that you have from breaking down their style, once again, individualistically, is that you can sit back and say, okay, I'm going to sing this song, but I'm going to take the tonal diversity of Adele, and I'm going to take the slightly elongated behind the beat, almost phrasing of Lana Del Rey. And I'm going to take this aspect, this person's like texture, or that person's dynamics, et cetera, et cetera. And all of a sudden you have a sound that's completely unique. And what's cool is the more you play with things like that, you'll kind of discover different sounds that you really like and that you gravitate towards. And all of a sudden you start putting together what works well for you and your unique voice. So that's kind of my long-winded answer. But the short answer is play with it, but play with it with different things in mind. And to your point, do so in a more protected setting where you're not necessarily in front of people until you get comfortable doing that. And that way, you know, when you're playing with it at home, you can kind of, you know, fail a lot, and, you know, until you find what really works for you.
Yeah.
So that would be my answer on how to really find your own and unlock your own unique sound.